Hello again. We sometimes pride ourselves in this country at our tolerance and welcoming attitude to those who are dispossessed. Pogroms and violent anti-Semitism are the sort of thing which might have happened in Nazi Germany or perhaps even Soviet Russia, but not really in Britain. This is by way of being a comfortable myth. There was considerable unease about the scale of immigration into Britain in the first years of the 20th century. Some of this popular discontent was linked to anti-Semitism. A large number of the refugees were Jews fleeing from Eastern Europe. As is still the case today, most of the asylum seekers sought to stay in London and the other large cities, the places where there were already communities of people from the same countries as those from which they had fled. There was also, of course, more opportunity for work in the cities. Some, though, found their way to South Wales, where they mostly set up as small shopkeepers. Most viewers will have heard of the Siege of Sydney Street. The newsreels of the Battle of Stepney, as the Siege of Sydney Street was also known, have been shown at cinemas and music halls across the whole country, and the scenes of soldiers engaging in a gun battle with foreign Jews brought out the worst instincts in some people. There was general anger places not only about the danger posed by allowing so many asylum seekers into Britain, people who would willingly shelter terrorists, but also against Jews in general. This led to the first pogroms in Britain since the Middle Ages. A railway strike had been settled on 19th of August 1911, but there was still unrest in Wales, and it wasn't long before a new target for the angry working men of South Wales was found. Tredegar was a town containing 20,000 people. Of these, only a handful of 30 families were Jews. The rumour began to be spread that these Jews monopolised the shops and other businesses in the town. There were, in fact, just 17 Jewish shopkeepers in Tredegar, along with a rabbi and one or two other businesses. No sooner had the railway strike ended in Wales and the troops used to guard the railway lines against strikers returned to their barracks, than rioting began in Tredegar with the aim of driving out all the Jews living there. Shops were besieged and looted, the police being unable to cope with this new outburst of violence. From Tredegar, the anti-Jewish rioting spread to Ebervale, Bryn Mawr, Bargoed and several other villages and towns. The single avowed aim of those taking part in these disturbances was to drive all the Jews from South Wales. In Ebervale, a tobacconist shop owned by a Jew was surrounded and then broken into and looted. The owner and his family retreated upstairs to their living quarters and then barricaded themselves into the attic. Even the floorboards were ripped up and the light fittings pulled from the walls so as to render the place uninhabitable. The thumbnail to this video shows boarded up shops in Tredegar belonging to Jews after this disorder had been brought to an end. The police in Wales were quite unable to cope with the mounting disorder in the valleys of South Wales, and the decision was made to call for the army to come to the aid of the civil power. Elements of the Somerset Light Infantry and Worcestershire Regiment were brought into Tredegar and other towns. It took some determined efforts, even for the troops, to bring the situation under control, and bayonet charges were made along the streets before the rioters realised that there was to be no more pussyfooting around. A number of Jewish families were evacuated from the area, leaving behind their wrecked homes. It was one of the most shameful episodes in 20th century British history, a pogrom indistinguishable from those taking place at that time in Tsarist Russia. The strange thing about these incidents is that they have been completely forgotten today. I might mention that Jews are still not all that popular in that part of South Wales to this day. I know some Jewish families in that area, and they don't advertise the fact that they are Jewish because there is certainly anti-Semitism still about there.